Have you ever wondered how power and self-control can go hand in hand? There was a Roman emperor who not only ruled an empire, but also mastered his own mind. Even in a turbulent world, he found unwavering peace. How? Want to know? But stay tuned, because in this video we will reveal 3 secrets. 1. The philosopher emperor, a Stoic soul on the throne. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled the Roman Empire from 140 to 180 AD, was not only a powerful ruler, but also a profound Stoic philosopher. He is often called the philosopher emperor because both his reign and personal life were deeply influenced by the principles of Stoic philosophy. Even on the throne, he constantly strived for inner peace and enlightenment. His famous work, Meditations, was not written for publication as a book, but rather as a personal journal in which he recorded his daily thoughts, advice, and self-reflection. It is still considered one of the most important and inspiring works of Stoic philosophy. Stoic philosophy taught Aurelius that many things in life are beyond a person's control. For example, war, epidemics, the behavior of others, and even death. But one thing is always within a person's control: his own mind and the way he reacts. Aurelius believed that a wise person could remain at peace with himself, not affected by external circumstances. For example, when the Roman Empire was repeatedly attacked by Germanic tribes from the north and faced deadly epidemics such as the plague, an ordinary person might have fallen into despair or anger. But Aurelius remained steadfast even in these difficult situations. He wrote in his Meditations, "Do not let your inner peace be destroyed, for no matter how adverse the external circumstances, your inner fortress is always secure." This is not just a beautiful sentence, but it is reflected in every step of his life. He did not just fight, but constantly struggled to keep his mind under control. A story is often told that Marcus Aurelius would sit at night in the solitude of his camp by candlelight and write his writings. During the day, he would deal with the complex problems of the empire, lead armies, and enact laws. But in the silence of the night, he would dive deep into his mind, reflect on his weaknesses and mistakes, and find ways to become a better man and ruler. He knew that external splendor or power could not give him true peace unless he could master his inner world. This self-reflection of his made him a steadfast and just ruler. He placed public welfare above personal desires, which is the main characteristic of a philosopher. Do you take time for your long silences and reflections? Comment on your experience. How did this silence affect your decision-making or peace of mind? From this point, we learned how important it is to calm yourself and master your mind through self-reflection, no matter how difficult the external situation is. The strength of a true leader lies more in his peace of mind than in his weapons. This was the detailed discussion of the first point, the philosopher emperor. Now we will move on to the second point, self-control and duty, which is another essential aspect of Marcus Aurelius's character. 2. Self-control and duty, the inner discipline of the emperor. Marcus Aurelius's philosophical foundation taught him that true power comes from self-control. According to him, the first and foremost duty of a ruler, or any person, is to control his own emotions, desires, and passions. According to Stoic philosophy, our happiness or unhappiness depends not on external events, but on how we react to those events. Aurelius believed that without complete control over himself, no one can effectively rule others or an empire. In his Meditations, he repeatedly reminded himself, "Control your mind, or your mind will control you." This concept of self-control was inextricably linked to his sense of duty. As a Roman emperor, his duty was to ensure the well-being of his subjects, protect the empire, and establish justice. These duties were often more important than personal comfort, joy, or even personal sorrow. For example, during the reign of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman Empire faced the Marcomannic Wars on its northern frontier, which lasted for about 14 years. During this time, Aurelius had to spend long periods of time away from Rome, on the battlefield. He had to perform war duties while his family, even loved ones, died. In such circumstances, an ordinary man might have collapsed from depression, exhaustion, or loneliness. But Aurelius did not let his personal suffering get in the way of his duties. He believed that as a ruler, his personal feelings were secondary, and that he had to suppress his emotions for the greater good of the empire. A practical example of this self-control can also be found in his personal life. There were many rumors about Marcus Aurelius's wife, Faustina the Younger. Although historians dispute the veracity of these rumors, Aurelius never publicly criticized his wife or showed distrust of her. Following the principles of Stoic philosophy, he tried to control his own reactions rather than controlling the behavior of others. He knew how important an emperor's behavior in public was, and that rumors or personal grudges could undermine the stability of the empire. His behavior showed that he could control not only his own instincts, but also his own mouth and mind for the greater good of society. Duty was a sacred responsibility for Aurelius. He knew that his every decision would affect the lives of millions of people. Therefore, he would make decisions based solely on reason, putting aside personal preferences. This dedication and self-sacrifice made him known to his subjects as a respected ruler. Have you ever had a difficult situation in your life where you had to suppress your personal feelings or desires to fulfill a greater responsibility or duty? How did you deal with that situation? From this point, we learn that the foundation of true power and leadership is self-control and steadfastness in duty. Putting the public good above personal comfort is the mark of a true leader. We will see in the next point, stability under pressure, how Marcus Aurelius faced the toughest challenges of his empire, standing on this strong foundation of self-control and duty. 3. Stability under pressure, a calm ship in the midst of a storm. The reign of Marcus Aurelius is often seen as the end of the golden age of the Roman Empire. However, during this time, the empire faced numerous internal and external challenges, which were the ultimate test for any ruler. His reign was plagued by wars, epidemics, and internal rebellions. But despite all these adversities, Aurelius maintained his Stoic principles and became known as a steadfast and just ruler. His stability was not just a personal quality, but a shining example of the practical application of Stoic philosophy. From 189 to 180 AD, the Roman Empire was gripped by the Marcomannic Wars on its northern borders. Germanic tribes were repeatedly crossing the empire's borders and entering Italy, posing a major threat to Rome. This long and exhausting war forced Aurelius to spend the last 14 years of his life far from Rome, on the frontier. It was a physical and mental test for the aging emperor. During this period, a terrible plague, known as the Antonine Plague, swept through the empire, killing millions and greatly reducing the strength of the army. Many historians believe that this plague was one of the reasons for the fall of the Roman Empire. Despite facing two such huge crises, Aurelius did not break down. In the Meditations, he reminded himself and his readers that reason will teach you that every problem is an opportunity. How you react to difficult situations is your true character. He knew that external events were beyond his control, but his response to them was entirely within his own control. For example, when the plague was raging in the empire, Aurelius himself traveled to military camps, boosting the morale of the soldiers and doing everything he could to prevent the spread of the disease. He was not only a military leader, but also a philosophical leader who provided moral strength to his soldiers. Another example of his calmness is found in the rebellion of Avidius Cassius. In 175 AD, while Aurelius was busy on the battlefield, one of his trusted generals, Avidius Cassius, declared himself emperor and took over the government of Syria. Such a rebellion was a terrible crisis for any empire. But Aurelius dealt with the situation calmly and prudently. He did not get agitated, but wrote a letter to Cassius, urging him to surrender and to understand the mistake of his rebellion. Ultimately, Cassius was killed by his own soldiers, and the rebellion was suppressed. Aurelius's calm and restrained response shows that he valued the greater good and stability more than personal resentment. During his reign, almost every aspect of the Roman Empire was under extreme pressure. Yet Aurelius was the pillar that kept this huge structure from collapsing. His leadership, his principles, and his Stoic faith helped him to remain steadfast in the face of all these storms. Thought-provoking question. Has there been a difficult situation in your life where you had to remain calm and steadfast despite all the turmoil around you? What helped you to remain steadfast at that time? From this point, we learn that remaining steadfast under pressure and adversity is not just a virtue, but an essential skill. It is possible to weather any storm by maintaining inner peace. This was a detailed discussion of three important aspects of the life of Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who mastered himself. His wisdom as a philosophical emperor, his morality through self-control and duty, and his indomitable will through steadiness under pressure have established him as a legend in history. His life teaches us that true power comes from self-control and how it can make a person stronger for himself and for society. From the life of Marcus Aurelius, we see that true power comes from inner control. As a philosopher-emperor, he not only applied Stoic principles to his own life, but also governed a vast empire with them. In the pages of Meditations, we see his self-control, devotion to duty, and ability to remain steadfast in the face of extreme adversity. His life teaches us that no matter how fierce the external storm, it is possible to weather everything with inner peace and reason. He proved that even on the throne, a man can control himself and achieve greatness through his inner philosophy. Awaken your inner power, for your mind is your empire. Honor your inner Stoic wisdom. If Marcus Aurelius's journey has inspired you, show your appreciation by giving this video a like. Share your favorite Stoic habit or principle with us in the comments, because knowledge grows through sharing. This philosophy may benefit others, so share it with your friends. And for more powerful Stoic insights, subscribe to our channel to stay connected and strengthen your inner fortress.